You're watching The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ MV Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are The Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building.
Ladies, hold on to your panties.
Oh, man. Maxwell.
Maxwell is here.
What's up, sir?
I'm trying, man. What's going on? Good morning, everybody. New York City, what's good?
Now, I'm glad you're here because I saw... Oh, you do
Maxwell
Snapchat, Maxwell?
Snapchatted that.
Go ahead and post it. You can't say it because you're going to be thinking about it the whole interview.
I just messed up my snap. That was a really good snap.
And you just erased it?
Yo, we out here. Maxwell. You know what I'm saying?
Maxwell.
I'm trying. I'm doing
Breakfast
my best.
Club.
I know your
cool.
DMs be popping.
Actually, yes, they do.
He said yes, they do.
Yes, they definitely pop.
A lot of titties.
Yeah, Snapchat me that.
Yeah.
It's an interesting world though, because I'm 42, so it's like I can't imagine what it would be like to be a 14-year-old with all of this social media the way it's going down.
I read an article in Time magazine that talks about how a lot of these millennials are having problems with actual erections. Because there's so much stuff on social media
so it's normal.
that when it's time
Thank
to
God
actually
we
do
don't
it,
have that problem.
Yes.
But I'm just saying it's also, I think it's good. I don't want to sound like the old guy that says, well, back when I was a kid, we used to walk through the snow to get to, but I don't think people connect as much. They just deal with each other on the phone. They think they've met, they think they've talked, but they don't really connect. So I think the last thing that we have really is music. Music is the one thing that at least, connects everybody in the way that it used to back in the day. But look, whatever, let these kids do what they do,
Why haven't you connected with the people in so long, man? 7 years?
7 years, right? That's a long time.
Did you even realize that?
I don't. I got to tell you, I get anxiety about just trying to meet the challenge of what I did before, and at the same time, I don't want to play myself and try to look like I'm trying to be in the moment with all the kids.
Doing a record with Future?
Yeah, well, no, I and don't get it twisted. I know and love all of those records. Like I I listen to everything. I mean, I listen to some really like dark, raunchy trap, like all of that. But
what are you feeling right now?
Man, I mean, definitely, Yo Gotti, definitely, Travis Scott. I mean, I listen to. I be in the club, so I know what these songs are, and I can sing with them. But I always have to be really concerned about the brand and like what I've done, starting in '96, and the fact that like my music is what you go home to after you've been where you've been, and hopefully it's with your family. Hopefully it's what you do on Sunday mornings when you're cooking. You get married to it. You having kids to it. Those types of things. So I've got to think about those issues as I see the ever-changing situation out there in the music world.
Now, you talked about the pressure. Now, is it a lot of pressure? Because you've always been, I say, left. Like, you never went with trends. I mean, from your first album to your videos. Yeah. Is there pressure staying different and staying in that lane and staying and being as big as those other songs and other albums?
Yeah, for sure, no doubt. I'm not gonna lie to you about that. But that's part of the fun. The part of the challenge of putting something together is saying to yourself, well, how can I maintain relevancy but still be, hopefully, and this is always the greatest thing that I want, is timelessness. Because so many people come and go, and there are certain rules to the game about how you do that. And I think that if you stay true to the basics, of what we're trying to exemplify, which is I'm not too detail oriented about shoes and cars, and I mean, I'm just kind of I try to talk about the bigger things in terms of just like, heartbreak, pain, betrayal, wanting to get somebody back for hurting you, not feeling like you're good enough. Those basic things are what we always feel, no matter what the watch is that weekend, no matter what the sneaker is, no matter what the new car is, whatever it is. Those are the things that we are always connected by. So I try to like talk about that.
Have you ever been heartbroken? No, you talk about heartbroken. Like you had.
Yeah, I saw you say
one time. You have girls in your DMs. You have women at your shows throwing panties. I mean, it gets disrespectful.
Yeah, I saw you say once.
For the guy.
If they're married, if the dude's married. What were you gonna say?
To expound on what Envy said, I saw you say once, heartbreak is always at the core of most things you write. And I'm like, well, who hurt Maxwell?
Yeah, I can't see that.
You know what's funny? Because there's the Maxwell thing, and then there's the Max thing, and then there's just two different people. There's the person that's connected to the music and the guy who makes the songs and who's gonna be all confident and get on stage. But then there's the guy who comes from Brooklyn, who grew up with a single mom, a grandmother, welfare.
You Haitian too, right?
Yeah, Haitian.
Yeah,
right. Puerto Rican.
That's all he knows. That's the only thing he knows.
Half of having all those things and then not feeling at the same time. I'm sure you can understand this. That feeling black enough feeling because a lot.
Wow, I like how you look at the beige guy in the room and say, "I'm sure you can understand this." That not feeling black enough feeling.
I know the light skin problems, man. I'm telling you, light skin problems.
You used to get teased?
No, well, yeah. I mean, you know what? I've learned that the teasing was not really teasing. It was someone who actually, it was people who actually really liked you that didn't know how to process that they liked you. So they turned it around on you on some psychological. But at the end of the day, you know, they're two different people here, and I stay away as long as I do because I always want to remember the guy that, you know, was riding the train and going to high school and, you know, remembering that he wanted to be something more than where he came from. And sometimes the glitz and the glamour, sometimes people, they get so lost and they forget, you know, that we just blips in the screen. You know, there's gonna be another guy or another girl right after you that'll be brand new, just like you were brand new. So I try to keep it like that so that I don't forget that.
Yeah, I saw you tweet out once, check your ego at the door. You're not curing cancer, you're just making art. Like, how have you kept that humility? Because of those thoughts?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's like, I know you guys see so many people come through. They come in brand new, humble, records start to blow up. They as different as they could ever be, right? I'm sure you've experienced that. So it's I think for me, because I have such close relationships like with the people at Columbia. I mean, there's 20 years. We just celebrated 20 years of Urban Hang Suite. So it's like a family, you know? It's not just me. It's not me. I'm part of a group, a team. Like you guys, when you do this show in the morning, you know it's not all you. You got people who really help you out. But it takes a minute for you to understand that because fame is no joke. I mean, it is a hell of a drug. I mean, like as Rick James would say, when you get that first blast of hearing yourself on the radio and seeing yourself on television, if you don't check yourself right, and luckily I got checked the right way because all the people that knew me, they know me since I was 17, you could get lost in a zone and, you know, you could alienate and step over people and then have to come back and like eat humble pie. So that's why usually I take the time that I take so that I can just refigure out the whole thing.
Right.
How did you handle the fame when it came to these women? Because you're fresh out, making all this great R&B music. I'm sure girls was throwing it at you 100 miles per hour.
But not only that, the types, because he didn't had, if you think about it, he had quote unquote earthy women.
Earthy,
models.
What does earthy mean, though?
Earthy is, you
just
know.
clarify.
Earthy.
Does that mean big?
No. But you have big women that you chose to.
I'm good with big.
The ones that shave when they want to, wear onks.
Right, that's cool.
You have those. You have models.
Oils.
It's so many
the
different...
Monique type chicks.
Exactly.
And then I feel you. Well, look, I just think everything is beautiful. And the weirdest thing for me is like when I look out into the audience, because there'll be bad ones out there. But they're the one that is the shyest, the one that maybe feels like, you know, I need to like, you know, lose a few here, lose a few there. That's usually the one I focus right on because I feel like
You're a predator. You pick on the insecure ones? Jesus Christ, Maxwell.
I just want to make I just want to make them feel good.
Right.
You know, at the end of the day, that's my job on stage. I just want to make you feel good, and everyone's gorgeous, everyone's sexy. But, you know, for me, I'm kind of a brain person, so it's like I think that the situations that sort of like will come to me on a personal level because I will be more mental. I'm 42, so it's like beauty. I understand beauty. Beauty's amazing. But when you wake up with someone after 10 years, you don't even remember that beauty part of it. You just know that you have a friend. You just know that, you know, you got somebody that's holding you down. Hopefully, like with my friend and manager, John, you have someone who's raising your kids. That's, you know, the day in and the day out of that, like all that stuff fades, you know. So
You have kids?
No, not yet.
Oh, you said raising your kid. I thought you had some kids. I said, wow.
What you waiting on?
Maybe I do. I don't know.
What you waiting on to let some of that legendary sperm go, man?
Well, you know what? I have this new. Actually, you know, it's interesting that you should bring this up, sir.
The legendary sperm.
I have a marketing plan. Instead of the albums, it'll be sperm. So I'm just gonna market the sperm.
You want to get pregnant by Maxwell? Buy my new album.
Buy my new album.
It's right there.
No,
That'll work.
I'm just saying it's a new plan. I might put a single with it.
Okay.
I might have a song to come out because usually the music kind of does that. So I figured let's just cut to the chase.
Cut to the chase.
And just,
You're going to have men and women buying that album.
I hope so, man. It's crazy. I hope people enjoy this new thing. We got a lot of more up-tempo records because it's like the summer's part of the Black Summer's Night trilogy. So there's a lot more boogie on this record than before.
See, as a DJ, you want the something. You want those type of records so I could play in the mix. Pretty Wings was cool, but I can't DJ that.
I got you.
I can't play that.
I got you.
But there's a time and a place for everything, though. Like, I ain't gonna front. I've been to one of your shows, and I've been to 2 of your shows. And my wife likes to go to your shows.
Okay.
I went with my wife now, but I went when she was my girl and stuff. And I realized I ain't going to no more Maxwell shows. Because these shows ain't for men at all. It's just a bunch of screaming women.
Look,
he ain't thinking about us.
My wife goes with her friends.
She
I am
all
not going.
hot and bothered. I'm like,
me feel all funny.
Go there, get excited, and bring your
What are you talking about? What are you talking
I
about?
go with my wife one time, and I felt a little funny because everybody's screaming. I'm sitting in the corner like a sucker. So I'm like, you know what? You bring your girlfriend next time.
When he did Fortunate, I went to sleep because I was like, it's like sitting by your girl while she watching Scandal. She ain't paying you no attention. None.
It's basically like when you guys are watching the basketball game or the football
Yeah.
game. So this is like their revenge on you, basically.
That is a fact.
I am the revenge of all those times. But no.
Mad pelvic thrust. Mad pelvic thrust. I'm like, if he thrusts one more time. Like,
hey, man, that ticket is expensive. I mean, I got to put work in, but I'm just, look, at the end of the day, you get to take them home.
Yeah.
And you get to get situations that you probably never imagined would happen. But you probably can. I mean, it's different, but I can't believe it's 20 years later, guys. That's all I got to say. I'm just, and I'm so happy that I'm kicking it with you because I hear you guys in the morning. You guys are funny.
Appreciate it.
You're real people. You're in situations sometimes because you got to speak about things and whatever. But, I just appreciate all the support throughout the years. And I got you on those dance records on this new album.
Okay.
I didn't realize you was from Brooklyn. I'm like, yo, you a Haitian from Brooklyn. You got shooters.
Yeah, I got
He always be in the streets in the city riding the bike and stuff. He always be out
You
about.
be catching me, right?
Yeah,
you see me?
absolutely.
How'd you feel about the term neo soul? Because people always give you credit for being the start of that.
I can't say that because D'Angelo was released in 95. And I have to admit, with great respect to him, that when he was set off, it really made everybody at the label really understand. Because I was already done with my album. I was just sitting on the sidelines. I was on the bench just looking at everybody like blow up and have their songs on the radio. And it was really, really depressing time for me. But there were people in the label like CJ and this whole small little group that were like, yo, we have something like this. And they were just working it their way up to, the guys who were like the presidents at the time. So, I give credit to D for being the person to sort of really get my record off the shelf.
Right. And
then I give a lot of credit to the radio stations that just, they played it without understanding what this was about. Because, I looked crazy, I was big old hair and everything. And, having all the weird West Indian type of thing, which that's not atypical really for an R&B person. Usually they're from the South. Usually they're like with D'Angelo, his story is so perfect. Like he's from Richmond, Virginia. He played in the church. Like my dad's from Puerto Rico, my mom's from Haiti. Like I'm like first generation from Brooklyn. I didn't even feel black enough really. So for me, it was like, man, I hope my people like this music as much as I love them. And 20 years later, it's just nice to know that I was.
You keep saying that you don't feel black enough, but like, no, that music was R&B soul.
That was
like
R&B, yeah.
Yeah, but when someone finds that your mom's from Haiti or like your dad's Puerto Rican, they're just like, well, you're not really like, from like the South, Like you get that a lot. It's kind of like even when you go to Puerto Rico, if you can't really speak Spanish, they don't think you're really Spanish enough. Or if you can't speak Creole, you're not Haitian enough. People have those weird things, especially in the Caribbean. So, growing up with that feeling of like, well, I hope this is going to be good enough for people. And then, we go so left. Like my guy that I write with, he's from like, his family's from Israel. He was born in San Francisco, grew up in Pittsburgh, went to Texas. He's full on Jew. Like these are not the people that you would think that would have made Pretty Wings, Lifetime,
right,
Till the Cops Come Knocking. So all of our team was so, it was so eclectic that people at the label were like, well, why isn't he just like checking in the boxes with that producer that's
box,
already
right.
Exactly. So, this is why it's so exciting for me that,
But that's what made it dope and that's what made it different. I always wondered why you didn't do many features. Like there's pretty much no Maxwell features.
Yeah. You know, well, I mean, look, I'm not saying I'm better than anybody because there's a lot of people out there that I like, but you know, a lot of my choices are kind of like family type choices. Like Nas was signed, released 95. I was there 96.
So y'all kind of grew up together.
Yeah, you know, I was shocked that he even liked my music because, you know, he's Nas, he's hip hop, my stuff is all smooth. And we developed a friendship and, you know, we basically worked on something once on one of his records, Street Kings. And then, you know, we just did the Barkley thing together. And, you know, we have more plans to do more business stuff together because we just get on. He's from Queens, I'm from Brooklyn. You know, he represents to me the kind of role model that African Americans should be, because he's the one person that will write a song like I know I can be who I want to be.
Right.
And then Alicia Keys, who I knew at 15 at Columbia when she was signed there, but then left, went to Arista / that other record.
J Records.
Yeah, J Records. And you know, she was kind of like my special guest on her first album. So I know her, I know Swizz.
I thought you were gonna do a joint with Jay-Z and JD at one time because during the Money and the Thing video, when he's sitting there, they're playing it in the background. I was like, oh, this is here it goes.
Oh my God, that's my next move. I mean, you know, if Jay is listening, because we're friends and I see him all the time and I know his wife and.
I've heard of his wife.
Yeah, his wife is yeah. His wife is cool. Yeah, I know them because, you know, Beyonce signed to Columbia as well, so I remember her as Destiny's Child, and you know, it's crazy for me, man, because I can't believe sometimes that this has been my life, because I go away and then I just go watch Comedy Central and like, you know, I you know, just do regular. You see how I am. It's I love the regularness of getting away from all of this. Because when you take that time and you don't look like you're hustling a new product all the time, as opposed to making something that like, wow, I lived a few things. Yeah, you saw me tipping out the club at that time and you know that this and you know that, but it's all gonna go into this music and it's like real rock and roll kind of soul R&B stuff in the regard of like the people that I like Marvin Gaye, who you knew when he was talking about Hear My Dear about his ex-wife, that was real. That wasn't just somebody in a room at a factory that was writing the songs for him, and then he walks into the 6th room and says, okay, I'll take that, and I'll take that. So that's kind of the way I like to do it. But
so you want to do a record with Jay?
Right, I always thought you should do a record with Jay.
For sure. I'm from Brooklyn, he's from Brooklyn. You know, it'd be amazing. I think he is the Frank Sinatra of hip hop, because all of his beats,
absolutely,
he never plays himself.
Never.
I mean, literally, and the craziest thing is, when Reasonable Doubt came out, I think it was 95. So I
96.
96, yeah, 96.
Nah, definitely 95.
They released a single in 95. I think the album came out in 96.
The album came out in 96.
Really?
Yeah, Reasonable Doubt was like September 96.
September 96. Because that's strange, because I remember, okay, well.
The single I think was 95, Can't Knock the Hustle.
Right.
And
he had those Christian kids.
Christian, yeah.
Christian and all them. Anyway, so when I heard that record, and because I knew him from prior, because he was part of a group, right? That he was doing this other style of rap back in the day.
The speed rap.
Yeah, the speed rap, which he kind of came back in with a bit later on. But he never plays himself. He always just chooses like the classic things, and you can listen to all those records forever. And that's rare, man. Like, people don't understand it's so much harder to make hip hop classic, because there's so many ways that you could really play yourself with like all the new trends and the new things that people do with vocoder and whatever and blah blah blah.
You could dress like R. Kelly. R. Kelly still dressed like he 18.
Well, you see, I can't say nothing bad about him. I mean, fortunate I never sing anybody's records. And fortunate when I heard it wasn't actually the first song, but when I heard it, I was like, because you just got to pay respect to him, because that guy can just, I mean, he could just pee out a song, you know, like,
whoa, great, Maxwell, yes,
he could have said,
yes, Maxwell, yes, nobody even had to set you up for that one,
man,
that was great.
I was gonna say,
out of all the bodily fluids you could have said,
oh God,
you said pee out.
Oh God, please, great. Mr. Kelly, please don't.
Yes, Maxwell, yes.
I didn't mean to do that. I was gonna say something else, but I didn't want to say that because it's a curse.
The universe said what it made you say what you needed to say.
Man,
now it always seems like,
oh my God,
it always seems like your records are personal, but we don't hear too much about your personal life. Is that on purpose?
You know what? I feel like, especially in the public eye, that like the most important people that I've loved are their profession first. Like people like Sade, you don't know nothing. Mm-hmm. You just know the songs, you know? I think in this current generation, you know, people do like to make their personal lives or even constructed like Hollywood pretended personal lives. They market that with their music to get a certain more shine, more talk, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. But I take a lot of pride in the people that I feel like you just know their work more, you know, like Harry Belafonte, you know, even Marvin Gaye, you know, you know their life through the music more, and it also leaves it for you as a listener to just put yourself in the song and not get caught up into the whole TMZ aspect of someone with music combined with them.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I know that this has been going down like since 2001 because of all the blogs and stuff, and just how the whole thing changed with Howard Stern and how he influenced the way the radio game was. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I'm happy about is that things are shifting back to a place where people just have to be great musicians as opposed to great caricatures of themselves to get on the radio or to get any kind of conversation going about them.
Do you like the social media stuff? Because I mean, you have women sending Julissa death threats because they're seeing you in places. And do you enjoy that now that social media is so big? You could be on the beach doing anything, and now all of a sudden you're linked with a person, or you can be, you know, in a cab with somebody, and now you're linked with them.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how a picture is worth not 1,000 words anymore, mm-hmm. a billion zillion words. But you know, you can't stop your life for what people are gonna think about what you're doing. You know, you just gotta do you. And I think at the end of the day, when you do you, people just gotta respect that. You know, it's not always the best you. I can definitely admit I'm not always my best me, but I'm human. And at the end of the day, I need experiences to actually write about to make you guys or whoever's out there that's listening going like, oh wow, you know, because I'm not really so caught up about how I come off or how I look to you, or what you think about me. I know a lot of my friends are, because as they get more and more famous, they're very conscious. They're at the club and they're like sitting and they're aware. Like I go out, I want to have a good time. You know? I want my habiki, you know. And
what is this rich beverage you keep talking about? Habiki. It's the second time he mentioned it before we got on. What is habiki?
Man, and let me tell you, as I speak about it, I don't have no equity. This is not something I'm pushing. It's just zero. It's whiskey. It's really good whiskey. From Japan. So.
That probably costs $400 a shot.
Now, because it just got so crazy, but not really. Like it's just, you know, it's like a couple $100 a bottle. But it's like low sugar, you know, it keeps you looking the same. I'm old, so, you know, I got to like keep this. I got to be like you know.
Yeah, I'm still saying. Like, I mean, nuts and apricots, pause over here. Almonds, I should say.
Now, you spoke about Nas being a good role model for young men. Like, who were the male figures in your life? Because I know your father passed away early when he was like 3 or something, right?
You know, I would say my teachers.
Okay.
My teachers, you know, like my art teacher, my history teacher, you know, my one of my best friends, manager now, John, who went to Africa and studied African studies, who's, you know, the son of, just the history that he has in music is retarded. But at the end of the day, those were the figures. But I will say that regardless of the male figures, it was the females, you know? I mean, the women who listen to what I do now, the women who supported me during the course of my career as it kind of, you know, was moving up. You know, my grandmother, for sure, you know, God rest her soul. My mother, she was special. You know, she was young when she had me. I have a better perspective on the situation than I did before. I don't like to talk about this. I don't talk bad about family, but I do have an understanding of like how hard it must have been for her at the time, unaware of the fact that her son would probably grow up and have this experience that I'm having right now.
But you still have a good relationship with her now?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we're good. You know, we're good. It's all love. You know, my cousin Danny passed away, who you remind me so much of when I look at you.
Was he Puerto Rican?
No, he was actually half Haitian and Turkish. So we have like a crazy mixed blend, whatever going on. So, but he passed away a couple years ago. The anniversary of his passing is the day after the single's released, and I know there's no accident to that. I know he's somewhere up there going like that, you know. But yeah, you know, when you lose family members and you get old enough to realize that, man, we don't really have that much time. There's no time for all this beef and getting caught up with like not liking someone or holding on to a grudge. And and once I did that, that's when I knew the album was kind of ready. I could just literally like let it kind of slide in a way that things never have been, because creatively it's like such a dance type of like not dance like in the quote unquote modern dance way, but in the dance way that I kind of sort of started out with. So it's exciting. I hope you guys love it. I just hope you like it and people play it, and if you don't, well, it is what it is.
Yeah, what happened to the hair? Because your hair was your signature thing when you first came out, and then you just chopped it off.
Yeah, because you know
what?
Because I didn't want it to be. I didn't want to be a haircut. You know.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I am not my hair.
Right. I didn't want to be, you know, a look or, you know, or like when you're young, you can wild out like that. And honestly, at the time, you know, Snoop had a fro. I mean, that just was the era and just how the era was going. But you know, it just you know, for me, it's like, you know, you hear about like, okay, yeah, because this is why he's successful, because of this, that. So I like to like take those things away and then see if I can still keep it going, because at the end of the day, it's like, it's about the songs for me. I want to be hopefully remembered and not forgotten for, you know, the music I made and not like how I looked or what my haircut was like, or, and hopefully like I'll be 60, you know, being wheeled out on a stage, and it'll still work because the songs work. And for me, I look at things like on that Frank Sinatra. You know, I sat down with Harry Belafonte. I got to shout him out. I was at his house. You know, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, this is a man who knew Paul Robeson. This is a man who sat down with Martin Luther King. This is a man, like when I was 5 years old, my art teacher was like, you know, you remind me of like of a young Harry Belafonte. And I went and saw and looked at him, and I was like, this dude was so fly. Like, you know, in a time where African American men were, you know, slaves, he was giving you this like energy that, yo, we can be fly out here. We can, you know, it's like Sidney Poitier and those people. So that's kind of what my mindset was with the switch of the game, is that is don't be a cliche, you know, and definitely try to do your best to represent that legacy of
Beige man.
Not beige man. Because Sidney Poitier is not beige.
No, not beige.
But just being fly, like, you know, we can be street, but just remember, let's be chic about it. Like, let's remember, like, we can have fun and we can wild out, but just remember that there's other kids that are looking, and then they need to see something that they're gonna want to be when we're gone. And those guys did it, and that's what that's all really about.
Now, I saw you tweet, no matter what happens, I just want you to know that I really loved you more than anything and everyone ever. That sounded like the last tweet before a suicide. Like, what was up with that? I was like, you sure Maxwell gonna be here today?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, that was part of a draft tweet that I didn't release about a year ago, and I just thought I should release it because it sort of plays into a situation that I was involved in, and that plays into one of the songs. You know, you're Charlemagne the God, but the song is called Gods, and it's an interesting story about just seeing a reflective. You know, when you kind of meet yourself through someone, and then you realize like all the pain that you've caused people because of your inability to realize who and how good you are, because you see that and then you're like, whoa, look, what am I doing? And so that's kind of like what that was connected to, but that's all I'll say about it, sir.
All right. But my final question, do you finally feel black enough?
Yeah, pretty nappy in the hair right now. Yeah. No, I just feel like I can't believe it sometimes. You know, I go through the Carolinas and the South, and I mean the generations too. That's what's crazy for me. When I look out and I see a grandmother, but you know, I see like a 17-year-old or a 20-year-old, and it just that's what happened, you know. And I gotta give love to you guys, because without you broadcasting this, you know, it wouldn't go everywhere the way it went, and affect the people that it did. And I got to be honest, you know, I feel like we're all black, really. White, everybody, you know, we're different cultures. We're not really different races, because all races are one race that just sort of migrated out into the various places on the planet because we just wanted another place to be and to get some land. And then on a geological and a physiological level, if you don't have that much sun, then your hair's not going to need to get a certain way, and your skin's not going to get as dark if you're somewhere else. So I just feel like we're all one people.
I just want you to know, it's a bunch of black women tweeting right now. Oh, he was sexy till he got on that All Lives Matter. Here he go. We all lives matter.
No, I'm definitely not an All Lives Matter hashtag person. I'm definitely a Black Lives Matter hashtag person. Because the situation out here is grave. But I think I don't know what's gonna happen with the election. I don't want to get into that right now with the Trump situation. Right. But all I know is that on one of the records we shout out Michelle Obama, because I think she's probably one of the most amazing women to hold down a man in the world.
Absolutely.
When you think about what he went through, to have a woman like that by your side holding you down when the world is as crazy as it was and as it still is. I never name checked anybody on a record before, but for sure I had to name check her, because she's a silent force of power that has allowed him to do with grace, without coming off like angry black man, with grace, what he did or tried to do, and is still trying to do in the course of his presidency. So I hope that saved myself with the whole.
You're good. You might get a text from R. Kelly, but other than that, it came out pretty clean.
What's the craziest thing a woman has done to meet you?
Oh man. This happened really early. Claimed to have cancer.
Whoa.
Yeah, which was crazy, because it's like major, like
right.
Someone sends you a letter and says that they have a terminal disease, and this is what, and you're like, whoa, and you're caught. And this was like early on, so I was so like,
you gotta go see her.
I gotta go check her out. I gotta help this person. And
was she pretty?
She was fine. Yeah.
Would you have sex with a cancer patient?
Well,
she didn't have cancer. He said.
She didn't have.
She was faking. Yeah, you're right.
She was. Yes. Wow. You was trying to take me there. I was not going to look at that. That was not going to happen. That was just not going to happen. That was not going to happen. But anyways, that was like, wow, really? So that happened. But that's pretty much it. I mean, sometimes people be in the room, like,
sneak up on you, pop up in the room.
You're in the room and you're like, whoa, or hallways and situations. But at the end of the day, I'm always looking to see what you're looking at and what it's about. Like, is it Max or is it Maxwell?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Because I'm too old for groupie situations. I really am. I'm too. That's not really what it's about for me. And I don't think really most of the people who check for me right now, because of just how long I've been doing it, would even like come at me like that. I think
go to Essence Fest. OG women be popping that Essence music.
We're gonna be there. We got,
see,
you gonna see.
It's crazy. We got Friday night. I think Mariah Carey's doing it one night, and then Kendrick Lamar. We got a crazy Essence cover. We got some cool stuff coming out in the summertime with the album and everything. So it's gonna be extra black in July.
Right.
And I don't know. I'm happy that I'm happy with the music enough to like let it go, even though I could work on it for another year. But it was really kind of the come to Jesus moment.
And this the last question. Are you gonna make more music and drop more albums or more often, or is it gonna be we gotta wait another 7 years for another album?
Well, what's interesting? For the first time, I have a surplus of completed records that we couldn't even put on, because I've been working on Black Summer's Night since 2002, 3, 4. So we've been Lake by the Ocean was written 5 years ago.
Wow.
So I usually kind of wait for the right kind of experience to then infuse the song with the so that he's not just this is not lip service. Like, he's singing behind something that he felt. Even though I have the story and the script, sometimes I don't have the actual motivation as the person who's delivering it.
Gotcha.
But no, it's not gonna be as long as it was before. And I know I said that the last time, but I'm like over that 40 mark. At the time, I was like 35, right, when the last album came out. I think, I don't know, you guys are still young in that regard, but when you turn 40, it's like it's like a retrospective on like all your mistakes, how you hold yourself back, and like I kind of caught that lesson. Like, gotcha. I kind of get it now. It's like I'm okay with like touching the light more, and more on a philanthropic level. That's the new thing for me, is like how I can make the music, you know, because we're trying to save the oceans, right? With the Lake by the Ocean single, there's so many different sort of like things with regard to the planet that will play in with the new album.
Gotcha.
The United Nations and all that. So it's a different kind of place for me. I'm going into this different zone of, you know, because Alicia Keys is so inspiring, like what she does with Keep a Child Alive, and I can't believe she did that at the age that she did it. It took a minute for me to even like realize that the platform that I have, I can actually sort of like get water to people in places in the country where there's no clean water. So you'll see in the video with the girl that we have, I mean, she looks like she's so amazing. She's great. And you'll see what we're gonna do, and you'll understand a little bit more about the song. It won't be just like this sort of like love ballad R&B record, but it plays into a whole thing with regards to saving the water in the world.
Okay.
Well, Maxwell, you are appreciated, man.
We definitely appreciate you.
You've gotten a lot of all women horny. Thank God you didn't have sex with them. We did. So we appreciate you, man. We appreciate you.
Dude, man, I appreciate you too, man. The fact that you get, you know, like I hear your name in rap songs, and you know, you do your thing very well, and I think that what you guys do is also at the same time, you safeguard us a little bit by having to let us know a little bit. Like sometimes you'll hear something on the air and you're like, whoa, I better like, you know.
We'll check you a little bit.
Yeah. There is a check, and but there's love. There's love, absolutely. You know, and I feel like, you know, I feel grateful to be in a situation where you know, I get to share some time with you and all your listeners, because it is a fun show.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, man.
Thank you very much.
You kill everybody.
Thank you. Well, there you have it. It's Maxwell. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club. Every weekday morning. Tune in.